Hey mama, welcome to week 4 postpartum. I have a lot to share with you today. A lot is going on with baby, and that is going to probably create some feelings, emotions definitely, stress probably, and maybe overwhelm. So we are going to talk about how to work through all of those with some of the changes that baby is going through and that you are going through postpartum. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. For those of you new to the podcast, my name is Jocelyn and I am a mother of 5. My oldest is 12, my youngest is 1, and I have had a lot of experience when it comes to pregnancy and birth. I've had a C-section, I've been induced, I've had the epidural, and I've done a couple of natural deliveries at the end. So I have learned quite a bit. I hated pregnancy. It was so hard. The first time wasn't that bad, but after that, it was hard. And if pregnancy is hard for you, you are in the right spot. And right now I know we're talking about postpartum, but pregnancy I always thought pregnant women were beautiful and amazing, and they are. And we just have to remember and recognize that our bodies are doing amazing things. Despite all the negative side effects, pregnancy is beautiful. And at this point, you've been pregnant and you are postpartum with your baby. And your baby is about a month old if you are following along time-wise with this podcast. If you're not following along time-wise, that's okay, because there are still a lot of amazing things that you can glean. So before I chat your ear off about stuff that I didn't even have in my notes, let's get into the episode. We are going to talk a little bit about babies first. And the first thing I'm going to say is that babies cry. And sometimes babies cry a lot. And it is okay. Babies are not going to be happy all the time, and you'll find that each baby is going to be different. Some babies are going to be more content than others, and some babies are going to be a little more high-strung or just upset more often. And this can be very agitating because as a mom, and just in general, it's kind of frustrating and annoying to hear little ones cry. And so, since you're the mom of this baby, you want to soothe that. You want to make them happy. You want their lives to not feel so upsetting. And so you want to soothe them. I'm going to talk about ways that can be possible ways to soothe them, but sometimes you just have to realize that babies cry. And honestly, this took me a couple of pregnancies to learn that it's okay that babies cry. It used to stress me out so much that babies would cry, especially when we were living in apartments. I just was so paranoid about the noise they made. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Nonetheless, babies cry, and it's okay. So some of the reasons that babies could cry is because they are tired, maybe their diaper is wet, maybe they're poopy, maybe they're hungry. I've mentioned cluster feeding. Maybe they need a little bit more like cluster feeding, even if you've recently fed them. And it could even be that they are bored. Some things that can help soothe them are rocking them, feeding them, singing to them, putting some music on, swaddling them, or giving them a change of scenery. And I actually found one of my favorites is a change of scenery. Like sometimes they really do just get bored and they need something else. Now, your baby's only a month, so they're still not going to be awake very many hours of the day, but nonetheless, they still do like a change of scenery. If you lay them at the same spot all the time, they might get bored of that. So some ways you can change that up is, first, physically move where you usually lay them down. Second, you can add like blankets, like if you lay them on the floor, you can add a blanket like to the side of the couch that's different colors. Dangle mats, you can even make your own dangles. I've done that before with I just use old like sour cream lids and put colored paper on them. At this stage, they usually can't grasp very well and like won't really eat them, but they'll probably try and swat at them. When they get to the point to where they start eating at them, you definitely don't really want them chewing on that or eating paper. But with bright colored paper on some old sour cream lids and just made like my own little dangle mat out of them, that can help change. Baths is a huge one. Sometimes I would just go give the baby a bath if they were really upset. Now, depending on the babies, some babies don't like water as much as others, but that was a helper with my babies. Another one, if I was really desperate and just was at my wit's end, was just to go for a drive. And that's another one, baby dependent. Some babies like the car, some babies do not. So you'll just have to kind of use these tips and experiment and see what your baby does like and what your baby does not like as far as soothing for when they cry. About the noise with living in apartments, I think I overstressed it too much. People realize that babies cry, or at least I hope they do. And just maybe mention to your neighbors, like, I'm doing what I can. I'm sorry, I've just got an upset baby. Maybe your baby's a little bit colicky. And we'll actually talk about a colicky baby right now. A colicky baby is a baby that cries for 3 hours a day, at least 3 days a week for 3 consecutive weeks. So basically your baby cries a lot. And honestly, with those, with those parameters, I would say most babies can have opportunity to be colicky. The difference with colicky is they are intense crying episodes where it's kind of hard to soothe. And I have had some colicky babies. In fact, my 5th baby was very colicky for a while. Happened in the evening, got very frustrated and upset, and it's hard to soothe them. They don't entirely know all the reasons why babies might get colicky. Some say it's an immature digestive tract. When I had researched it, when my baby was going through it, it just seemed like they needed to release a bowel movement, but they couldn't figure it out. They forgot how, and so it just became incredibly difficult and incredibly painful. Gas drops. I definitely look into gas drops, but always ask your doctor or provider if you feel that that's a thing that you would like to try. It did help sometimes for my fussy baby, is just some gas drops. Some things to be aware of if you have a colicky baby so if you're formula feeding, you might want to try a different formula. If they're really colicky, especially if they're spitting up a lot, you might want to try a different formula. Now, I am still trying to figure out my opinion on this because there's research both ways, but some people say that what a breastfeeding mother eats can affect their infant. So let's say if mama is eating a lot of, it might even be lactose, milk products, that can upset baby's stomach if they have a lactose thing. So maybe staying away from dairy products or Brussels sprouts. I remember eating Brussels sprouts and my baby was so upset after that. And so there's that side of the research that says what you eat does affect your breast milk. And then there's another side of research that is more, I don't know, it's more recent to me, but it said that what you eat does not go into your breast milk because it's a blood product. Anyway, not entirely sure there, so don't quote me on any of this. Just this is what I've learned in my research a little bit. And I actually don't have a source on that. That was just research I did a long time ago that I remember. The source for the Colicky Baby is Mama Natural, and I will put her link in the show notes. So those are some things to pay attention to for the colicky baby. Another way to try and soothe them that I haven't already mentioned is using a pacifier. Now, I know some people are against pacifiers, but I am not. Pacifiers were a lifesaver. Sometimes the babies just want to suck on something to soothe them. And with some babies, it does take like some intentionality to get them to actually take it. So you do have to work at that a little bit, but pacifiers or binkies, whatever you call them, have been a lifesaver for me in helping to soothe my babies. Especially as they got a little older. It was just nice when I knew they weren't hungry, but they needed some soothing to allow them to suck on that. Another thing that I haven't mentioned that can help with crying or colicky babies is fresh air. Now, if it's winter, that's going to be a little bit difficult, but if it's summer, spring, fall, or anything that's like manageable weather-wise, get your baby some fresh air. That can help soothe some colickiness and help there as well. Oh my goodness, I have so many tips today. You can also move their legs. So if it does seem like it's their bowels, we would do this with several of our babies. My husband and I, we would move their legs. So you just gently lay them like in your lap or on a couch somewhere safe. And then you take each of their legs in your hands and gently move them back and forth, almost as if you're like helping them run their legs, because that movement can help their digestive tract. You can even look into baby massage. I got desperate with my 5th baby. My most recent one, he was so colicky, and I even looked into like an infant chiropractor, but I've heard so many mixed things on chiropractors that I would chickened out. I looked into it, I watched some YouTube videos on it, and then with all the mixed reviews and things I've heard about chiropractors, I just didn't feel right. But I did take my baby to one of my husband's relatives who did some like baby massage and showed me patterns of the baby's like digestive tracts and how to rub on his belly to help hopefully help things start rotating and moving. So there's a lot of things that you can look into, things that I have mentioned, and even other things that I probably am not even aware of. So just know that you don't have to stay stuck. There is ways to overcome these problems, but also having the mindset that babies cry is really freeing, because you don't have to make everything right. You can just realize they cry and it's okay, and life goes on. I've had to remind my children of that several times when they're like, oh, the baby's crying. I'm like, yep, babies cry and it's okay. There's a lot with baby this week. Your baby could be having baby acne that generally clears on its own, or they could even be having cradle cap. So cradle cap is basically just baby dandruff. There are a lot of remedies that you can do. I would always just be cautious about what you put on baby skins. It absorbs so easily, and I don't know, these days it's hard to know if you're putting good things into them. So make sure to do your research on applying like baby oils before you do that. Something I liked to do for the cradle cap is to exfoliate with a soft baby brush. That's basically just taking a baby type brush that's got soft bristles, almost like those sponges they give at the hospital. Anyways, they make little baby brushes and just brushing their head. I did that with my last baby, and one time he had so much that my pants looked like I had been in like a snowflake storm, because he had so much that came out. And then like safe lotions, if you want to put lotions on it, can sometimes help. Just always do your research and use your intuition. I think sometimes we discount the intuition because there's so much research out there that we got to just depend on the research, when you don't have to depend on the research. Sometimes you can trust your intuition on what your baby needs and what your baby doesn't need, and use that, mama. That's a blessing. Babies are starting to figure out their hands. Their muscles are getting stronger, and they may even grasp things for a short time. If you are a nursing mama and haven't introduced the bottle, now would be a time where they won't get like confused as much. I have lots of episodes on how I do both breast and bottle. And and I will put those in the show notes. I do that because my second baby, I did not introduce the bottle or the binky soon enough, and she did not take either. And that was a very long, hard year. It was very difficult. And so after that, I always vowed I'm going to try and give my baby both a bottle and a binky and get them used to both early on. So I will put those episodes in the show notes so that you can listen to that and how I did that, because you do have to keep your breast supply up, or your milk supply, not your breast supply, sorry, your milk supply up. And so that goes into details about how I would keep that supply up. All right, that was a lot about baby. Holy cow, I'm 15 minutes in, haven't even got to mom. I apologize. This episode will be a little bit longer, but I want to give you some encouragement. You're probably getting a little bit better at nursing. Hopefully your baby is getting a little bit better. But it's still tough. You still might be dealing with the baby blues. You still probably may even be bleeding a little bit. Your breasts are still trying to maybe normalize. And it's just a lot. Having a newborn is a lot. And especially if you went from being a very busy person to like just being home with this infant, the mental games are real and they can be really difficult. And that's where I want to encourage you today, is that I want you to stick with it. You are doing amazing, Mama. You are going to be a blessing to this sweet little child that is now yours. Stick with it. As I mentioned, trust your instincts. And if you are really struggling, ask someone you trust who has been there before. Ask for their advice. Ask for their tips. I asked some mothers that I really admired, and they shared some great things with me that really helped. And I think sometimes we discount the advice or the knowledge of the older generation because we can find everything on the internet. But the older generation has experienced it and they know a lot. So trust them, ask them, and then use your intuition. Use your own instincts to know if that's right for you and your baby. You might still be lacking sleep and getting very exhausted. If this is your first baby, or if your other children nap, nap when they nap. If you need to set up a quiet time to where your kids are in a safe room and you just have them do quiet time, listen to an audiobook or something while you take a rest, sometimes you need to do that, and it is okay. Ask for help. I did a whole episode on asking for help last week. So if you haven't listened to that one, go listen to that one, because sometimes we want to be independent and we want to feel like we can do it all ourselves, and that it's weak if we ask for help, but it's not. And that episode will go more into that, on how asking for help can actually help you and your mindset and like this whole mothering thing significantly. One of my biggest tips for today, actually I have a few, but the first one is to cry. Allow yourself to feel these emotions. You want to do it all. You want to be a good mom. You want to be happy. You want to enjoy this. You want to find it easy and not so hard. But Mama, it's hard, and it is okay to feel those emotions. I give you permission to cry. Just let those emotions go and cry, 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 cry. And then after you've cried, I want you to breathe. Just take some deep breaths in and some deep breaths out. And use your breathing to slow down your worry, your stress, your overwhelm, your anxiousness, and all of those crazy emotions that are going on inside of you. Breathing is a powerful way to help you realize that you can do this. You can ask for help, and you can solve these problems, and this won't last forever. Sometimes in that baby phase, it feels like this is going to last forever. But being a mom of older children, I have realized it does not last forever. In fact, it goes really quick. But know that you can do this. A couple of tips for your spouse and you, is to take turns. If he's home in the evening, maybe you just need to leave. Like, maybe the baby's been crying a lot and you just need to go for a drive or go just do laps around Walmart or your grocery store. I don't know. Just do something. Sometimes you just even need just a shower or just a bath. And talk to your spouse. Talk to your husband about this. Tell him that you just need some time to be by yourself and to breathe or to get out of the house. Those things do need to happen, and that communication is good. It helps build your marriage. So tell your husband if you are needing some help. And most of all, do your best to choose not to make it stressful. We are stewards, Mama. These are God's children that He sent us, that He blessed us with. And He is in control, and He sees the grand and beautiful picture. And it doesn't help you or your family, or it doesn't help you to be the mom that you want to be if you're overstressed. You get uptight, and when you're uptight and stressed, you don't treat your family very well. You don't treat yourself very well. And you have less capacity to feel that love and to give that love. And that's what we're here on earth to do as mothers, is to love. The first commandment is to love God, and the second is to love your neighbors and your family. And God wants you to be able to love. So do your best to not make this stressful by just crying it out, breathing it out, asking for help, doing the things that are on your mind to help this go smoother, to help motherhood be a blessing and not a burden. I am cheering for you, Mama, and God is cheering for you. You can do this. Your family needs you. You need you. And God needs you in these endeavors to do these mental things that I talk about, to find more positivity in your motherhood. You can do it. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.